for watching. So, I have to ask, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? Have you looked in the mirror and told yourself that you're beautiful? If not, stop this video, go ahead and do that, and then come on right back and we can get started.
Yes. So, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking to you guys about...
So, med school isn't for you if...
Pretty much, yeah.
Numero uno. Med school isn't for you if you're solely in it for the money. Y'all know doctors get paid a lot.
Yeah.
They do. But you also go through a lot of schooling, a lot of training, and a lot of time where you're not getting paid anything.
Yeah.
Like, right now, we're paying to work. And then with residency, you get paid.
Yeah.
Compared to other people, it might seem like a lot, like a decent salary, but when we have to pay back loans and we have like all these other expenses that you have to pay for, it's honestly not that much.
Yeah.
And so you have a span of up to 7 years where you're getting paid
like
basically nothing for the amount of hours that you're putting in, for the amount of work that
that's
you're doing.
What it is. It's relative.
Yeah, because like you're working long hours. Like they say no more than 80 hours, but a lot of people go over 80 hours. Like, let's just be honest. And so the amount that you get paid in residency is not going to make up for how much you're working. You're not going to see the benefits truly until you're attending, and honestly till you've been practicing as an attending for a couple of years.
Right.
So yeah, don't go in it if you're only in it for the money, because it's not worth it.
It's going to happen a long ways away.
Long.
You're going to be broke for a minute before you get that 6 digits, okay? So...
Also, don't go to medical school if it's only because of pressure that you feel from your parents or your peers, your family. Like, that's not going to fuel your passion and like your motivation to continue medicine if you're not doing it for yourself. If you're doing it for other people, it's not gonna work.
Because there's gonna be days where you are really down and out in the library or at home or whatever, and you have to remember the reasons that there are the things that motivated you. And if your support system was the one that was kind of pushing you the whole time, or like your parents was kind of pressuring you into doing it and you didn't want to do it for yourself, you're going to like slip into a depression.
You're gonna burn out fast.
You're gonna burn out fast.
Yeah.
So just be wary of that. Make sure that you're going into this field because you want to do it, because that's what's going to sustain you whenever you're going through it. Like,
definitely, because we get questions a lot about like why we decided to go to med school, and I've gotten a few like DMs on Instagram saying, like, help me find my why. I'm like,
we can't.
I can't help you find your why. Like, that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. Like, if I have to help you figure out your why, you shouldn't be going into medicine.
Yeah.
And so you really need to figure out why you want to do this for yourself, because you're going to be tested, you're going to be tried, but if you really have a passion for it, then of course you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you're going to easily fall off and slip off. So
there's a difference between articulating what your why is and getting help with that versus can you help me find my why? Yeah. That's a completely different
Because literally one person
question.
was like, can you help me find my why? And shout out to him. He's a sweetheart, but he like messaged me later and he was like, I'm glad like you told me what you told me, because I figured out that medicine wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And he was like, you allowed me to figure out what I'm truly passionate about. And I was like, well, you're welcome. I'm glad to help. I didn't even think I was helping that much. Yeah. But like he really thought about it. He was like, wow, like medicine really isn't for me. Like, thank you for showing that to me. So really figure out if this is for you before you dive in head first.
Because don't go into this blind, and that's why we're trying to make this video for y'all to just have a very well-rounded opinion about it.
Also, don't go to med school if you're not okay with delayed gratification.
Period.
All of this is delayed gratification.
All of it.
All of it.
Literally. We know that we're not going to get the monetary compensation, the MD with like the respect of an MD until we're done with residency.
Yeah.
Because as a when you're in residency, you're a resident. No one sees you as an attending, as a physician. It's like you still are in a certain level of your training. Until you're done with training, you're really not perceived as someone with that much authority yet.
And you haven't mastered your skills.
Exactly. I don't want you to see me as an expert if I'm not an expert in my field. So, yeah.
Big thing. Med school isn't for you if you can't accept criticism.
Yeah. If you think you're always right, if you think that people are being mean to you when they're criticizing you, cut it.
Like literally third year, you will suffer.
You will suffer.
You will suffer bad during third year, because your first 2 years you don't get as much criticism because it's more just like bookwork and stuff like that. And more like objective ways of like testing your knowledge.
Yeah.
But third year, honey.
Story time. So we got have story time interspersed throughout this whole thing. So, intro medicine rotation, I remember my resident, he wanted to give us feedback halfway through, like midpoint feedback. He was just like, yeah, nephew, you know, you're great with presentations, blah, 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 but like, I feel like you're not interested. And I was just like, what you talking about? Like, what you mean? And I felt like, at first I got offended because I was like, dang, like, I feel like I come in early, I do my work, I go home, but it's like, sometimes if your energy is felt and it's not necessarily negative, but just like kind of like you just chill, you're not really doing the most, that can be misinterpreted. It's one thing to take offense to it and like not change. It's another thing to be like, hey, this is how I'm being perceived by other people. And if it's not accurate, then you take that and you're just like, okay, what are some ways in which I can change that in the future so that that doesn't affect the team dynamic? Because essentially if the team is not cohesive, the patient is like an increased risk of having some type of complication or like error happen to them. And so you don't want to be the dead weight on the team or like the bad apple. So I had to like check myself and just be like, you know what, if that's how I'm being perceived, let me just change that up a little bit. Let me smile a little more, let me ask more questions, let me be more present and engaged. So definitely criticism comes throughout their year.
And you have to be receptive to it, because also, another little story time. So like I just finished with P's on the last day. We had to like usually sometimes you get the days off before, but this time like we actually had to like round and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I was like just over it. Like my presentation wasn't as good as like it usually is. And like I felt that, and I'm really hard on myself. So like my attending, like she gave me like criticism, but it wasn't like horrible, but like I internalized that. And so like afterwards I like literally rewrote my assessment and plan and I sent it to her. But in my eval she was like, that really impressed me because you took the time to like correct your mistakes, you listened to the criticism that I gave you, you were receptive to it, and then you made those changes and you sent it to me. So like that can also show you that like you're always learning, you're always willing to get better and to improve. And so you can kind of like take that criticism and like turn it into good and like make you look better, because like maybe you didn't do so well with that thing, but you went home, you looked it up, you did a little learning issue on it, and you sent it to her, and it's like, okay, like you're actually listening to what I have to say. So criticism is not always bad, it's good as well, especially in this field, because you're not gonna be great at everything. Like it's a learning experience, and so you have to be receptive to that criticism so you can be a better doctor and like perfect your skills. And people want to train someone who is willing to be trained. Exactly. Like, be easy to work with, y'all. Like, that will make your life so much easier. All right. Speaking of team. Come on, segue. Med school isn't for you if you can't be a team player. Yeah, you can't. You can't. It's just not it. Medicine is all about working in a team. Like, you don't practice medicine by yourself. Like, you never. That's why you always hear people talk about be nice to the nurses, be nice to the staff. That's like the ancillary staff. So people who are transport team, janitors, scrub tech. Like, these are people who will make or break your experience working in the hospital. So you want to be someone who's like, yes, I'm a leader, but I also respect the members of my team. And even like if you end up having like a private practice later down the road, like your patients, the first people they see are not you. The first people they see are like your staff. And so you have to make sure like everybody is good on the same page, that everybody gets along, because like your patients will sense that and they will feel that. That affects you. So make your money. That's facts. So, that is facts. Med school isn't for you. Yes. If you are intolerant of different people's backgrounds, if you can't work with people from a variety of different walks of life, it's not for you. It's not for you. Because not only will your colleagues be different from you, your patients will be different from you. And there's a lot of groups out there on Facebook, GroupMe, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you learn that like doctors are still humans. They're humans first. Being a doctor just happens to be their occupation, and people will really show themselves in these groups, and you need to be careful in terms of like how you talk about other people in their situation, because you would think like as a physician, every single doctor out there is like this angel and this person who is like, you know, tolerable and is tolerant and is, you know, well versed in different backgrounds, but a lot of people aren't. And you need to be able to talk to and work with people from different walks of life, because literally, especially like a place like Houston, we see everybody. It's a melting pot. It is a melting pot of every hodgepodge of everything. Like if you in like the countryside and your
population is like very very
the
specific.
Mindset will probably be very specific.
Yes.
And like, but here you have everything, different types of religions, morals, beliefs, biases, like everything.
Yeah.
So.
And it doesn't mean that you should alter what you believe in. It just means you need to be able to treat people with the respect that they deserve. Because your job is not to judge people. Yes, your job is to provide medical care. That is literally it. Provide the services, give them the resources they need to get help in other areas of their life, but like primarily make them less sick. That is your job. Not to judge them for like who they date or who they love or whatever it is that they are different from you for. Like, just remember that when you're going into medicine. And if you feel like you can't talk to people or talk about certain topics with certain people, either defer to another specialist or don't go into medicine.
Also, med school isn't for you if you can't accept failure.
Yes.
You will fail.
You're gonna fail. We have a video.
It might not be on a test. It might be on a presentation you did one day. It might be in a history that you took on one patient, a physical exam you did, a surgery you scrubbed into, a procedure you did. You're gonna fail.
Yep. Something
is not gonna go your way. You're not gonna do great. And so if you can't accept that, then med school is not for you.
Your failures are not a definition of who you are. If you think that your failures are a reflection of you, that's when you start to spiral. Because we've all been through it where we internalize the criticisms that we get or the failures that we go through, but you have to remember that like it's just a part of you growing into the best version of a physician that you can be. Like we said earlier, like be willing to take that criticism and like learn from it. Learn from your failures. Every L is not a loss, it's a lesson. So just be mindful of that. And like you have to be careful how you talk to yourself during those times when you fail, because
that's
you're your biggest critic. Just remember that.
No, I didn't get it this time, but I'm gonna get it next time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna study, and the next time this opportunity comes up, I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, I failed this time, but I won't fail it next time.
Exactly. Med school isn't for you if you need to know all of the answers.
Yes, you are not perfect.
And medicine is not black and white. Like, medicine has gray areas.
Yes. Which is why
you're never gonna know everything.
Which is why board exams that we get tested on, it's so annoying because it's not like they make it seem so black and white. They give you all the when you see it,
I overthink things, and so that's why like I do horrible. I don't do horribly, but like that's why I don't do amazingly on like exams and stuff, because I overthink things. I'm like, okay, but I saw a patient that had this and this, and it presented differently, or it was so like it's supposed to test like the bread and butter, like basic like typical presentations, but that's not what medicine is. Like, and it's funny because when we learn things for like the board exams, our attendings and our residents would be like, yeah, you'll need to know this for this exam, but I've never seen this, or we don't do it that way, we do this instead. And I'm like, what?
Bro, like you would think. Now there are times when you get a textbook case.
Yeah, and those are nice.
Those are great because you remember it, you'll never forget it. It's perfect for the test. But those other times when you get a zebra and you're just like, wait, what? Like I thought this is how it's supposed to present. They're like, well, sometimes 95% of the time, that 5% of the time you don't get that. I'm just like, bro, like,
it's annoying.
What's up? This is not it. So it's not gray. It's definitely gray. It's not like
you're never gonna know everything. Like even if you've been practicing for 20 years, like you're still not gonna know everything. Yeah. So. Last but not least, I guess this kind of segues as well. Med school isn't for you if you don't like to learn, if you don't like to continue learning. Like if you just want to like learn something and be done with it and not have to like relearn things and continue to read and be educated, then medicine's not for you because it's continuous. Like medicine is you practice it and you're going to continue to practice it. So if you don't want to continue practicing medicine, it's not for you.
Yeah. And that's why some people like kind of talk down on private doctors versus academic doctors, because academic doctors academic doctors they do get more exposure to like the more up-to-date evidence-based medicine because they're forced to learn it because the residents are learning. Yeah, they're teaching the residents and the medical students, their colleagues are doing research, innovative, cutting-edge research, in certain schools. But if you're a private practice and you're in community, most times, a lot of things that you're learning or that you're practicing or telling your patients don't really change. And so... Because
you're seeing just like the basic bread and butter stuff. You're not seeing like the more complicated, complex cases because those get shipped to the academic centers.
So it's like, it's definitely something that you have to kind of hold yourself accountable for, because no one is really going to be the one talking about, have you read this recent article, this recent journal on this? No one's going to be there to tell you, to hold your hand and tell you that you need to be able to be up to date. Because your patients are going to be asking you questions. How I heard about this one thing on the news, and if you're not really up to date on that, that's the coronavirus. Like, if you're not up to date, if you don't really know what's going on, you're going to be like, well, I don't really know. So, and that's just what it is. But though we've been giving you guys all the things that could deter you from medicine is still a great field if this is what you want to do. Yeah. This is your calling, this is your purpose and your passion. We're here. We talk about the things that cause us to struggle throughout our third year or throughout the first 3 years of our med school, but we're still here by God's grace. And we're gonna get to the other side by God's grace. Amen. So,
and we're just doing this so like you won't have to struggle like we struggle.
Yeah.
Like we just want to make things easier for you guys. That's why we make these videos. That's why we give you the information that we give you. That's why we're vulnerable and we're open with our experiences. And that's why we're like giving it to you hard like this, because we don't want you to go into a field that you think is for you, but you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and so you don't end up finishing it and then you finding out that it's not what you thought it was, and you end up completely changing fields and having to do something completely different, and you waste a lot of your time because med school is 4 years, residency is at least 3, all the way to 7, and so we don't want you to go through all of that and then end up and then realizing that it's not for you. And so that's why we're giving you all of these gems and tips and advice so that you can watch this video and be like, okay, well, all the things that they said is actually kind of about me. Maybe like I need to reevaluate what I want to do and if this is really for me.
Yeah. After you watch this video, you can no longer say, well, nobody told me.
Because he tells you.
He just told you, sis. What's that? So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. You got some gems, some knowledge from what we shared. Yes. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. That helps us a lot. Make sure you click the notification bell so you never miss a video. Make sure you share with a friend or 2
or 5.
So yeah, we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.